Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, make it official. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's regular meeting of Mayor and Board of Trustees. It is October 10th, and we are, of course, as always, we start our evening meetings with being led by a Pledge of Allegiance by a local student. And tonight we have Alexa McFarland. She's from Pleasantdale Elementary School, and Alexa, is in fourth grade, and per her principal, Matt Vanderkar, is an outstanding fourth grader. She's one of the most positive students in the building. She has good friends at just about every grade level, and is a tremendous role model for the younger students. In school, Alexa loves music, PE, and reading. In her spare time, Alexa takes Taekwondo lessons, plays softball, loves to play with her friends, and travel to Minnesota, Colorado, Wyoming. Her parents are Annabelle and Jason McFarland, and her mother, Annabelle, happens to work at CNH Industrials. A little additional side note there. Alexa, we're glad to have you here tonight. Will you please come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Karen, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Francis.
Here.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Paveza.
Here.
Trustee Bolas. Trustee Murphy. Trustee Schiappa.
Here.
Mayor Straub.
Here. Are there any residents who would like to address the board at this time? Yeah.
No, it's not on.
This one or this one?
The one,
This
the
one?
stationary one, yes. That's the live one.
Okay. As you are probably all aware, there is an election coming up, and I am the precinct committeeman in Downers Grove 35, the Democratic one. My good friend here is the Republican committeeman. He's got more problems this year than I do. But there are some issues on the ballot that are important, and I would like to bring to attention to pay attention to those when you're voting. Some of them are, of course, very important to Burr Ridge, as you may know. This first one on the constitutional amendment, I'm going to vote no. On the other issues that I see here, I'm getting pretty old, and reading these things is getting kind of problematic. But the proposition to increase the limiting rate, which in the village of Burr Ridge, I'm going to vote yes on that. I believe it's very important to do. The other proposition on Downers Grove Township, the consolidation of mosquito abatement, I'm going to vote no, and urge my neighbors who listen to me to do that as well. I don't want to take the time to go into all of the reasons because you are limiting the time, of course, but I bring that to your attention and remind people that this is a very important election, and that hopefully they will take advantage of the opportunity to participate in the major political event in this year and to vote. If they have any questions that they would like advice on, I'm very happy to talk to them at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you again. Are there any other residents who would like to address the board at this time? Okay, and now we're to the consent agenda, or otherwise known as the omnibus vote. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the agenda. Under minutes, we have 5A, approval of regular board meeting of September 26, 2016. 5B, receive and filed Veterans Memorial Committee meeting of August 31st, 2016. Under ordinances, we have 6A, approval of an ordinance rezoning property from the O2 office to hotel district to the R5 planned residence district of the Burr Ridge zoning ordinance, that's Z10 2016, located at 1400 Burr Ridge Parkway and 11650 Bridewell Drive. Under 6B, we have approval of an ordinance amending sections 7H and 7H4B6 of the Burr Ridge zoning ordinance to revise the description of the R5 district and to reduce the minimum area of a planned unit development from 40 acres to 20 acres. That's Z10 2016 text amendments, R5 district. Under 6C, we have approval of an ordinance granting a special use pursuant to the Burr Ridge zoning ordinance for a planned unit development consisting of 52 single-family homes with private streets and commonly owned open space between the homes. That's Z10 2016, located at 1400 Burr Ridge Parkway and 11650 Bridewell Drive, otherwise known as the Weekly Lakeside Point. 6D, we have approval of an ordinance granting a variation from the Village of Burr Ridge zoning ordinance to permit the location of an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, and storage structure to be located in a side buildable area rather than in the rear yard. That's VO5 2016, located at 300 Tamerton Parkway under Carl's. Under 6E, we have approval of an ordinance granting a special use pursuant to the Village of Burr Ridge zoning ordinance for an amendment to the King Brevard planned unit development, Z9 2016, located at 6101 County Line Drive, County Line Road, that's King Brevard. Under resolutions, we have 7B, adoption of a resolution correcting plat of subdivision Buck Trail Estates, located at 7950 Buck Trail Drive, Burr Ridge. And 7C, adoption of resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage County Emergency Telephone System Board, and the Village of Burr Ridge, authorizing the transfer of the Village of Burr Ridge Emergency Telephone System Board 911 service and operations to the DuPage County Emergency Telephone System Board 911 system. Under ordinances, we have 8B, approval of vendor list in the amount of $206,047.45 for all funds, plus $193,497.61 for payroll, for a grand total of $399,545.06, which includes a special expenditure of $39,435 to Demler Incorporated for the 2016 road program crack sealing. May I have a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? That's 5A and B, 6A, B, C, D, and E. Resolutions 7B and C, and considerations 8B.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Cavazza?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
4-0.
Motion passes 4-0. Under resolutions, we have consideration of a resolution opposing any advancement of Senate Bill 2785.
Yes, as we promised at the last meeting, I've enclosed a resolution in opposition to Senate Bill 2785 that creates the Small Wireless Facilities Deployment Act. It's a statute which will prevent municipal authorities from regulating the mounting of small wireless facilities and networks on existing structures. Along with the resolution is a letter that we are recommending that we send to the governor and our legislators. I don't take credit for the preparation of either the resolution or the letter. That was done by DuPage mayors and manager staff in anticipation that many municipalities, or hopefully all the municipalities in DuPage County, will be doing something exactly similar to what we're talking about tonight. As we talked about and have talked about, it's a concern. I think we're putting ourselves in a good position here to be able to regulate this oncoming onslaught, basically, of these types of devices. We want to oppose any restrictions on municipal rights to regulate these types of devices. So it is my recommendation that the resolution be adopted.
And can you just highlight, Steve, for the benefit of the residents, just a couple of the reasons why the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference wanted to issue that?
Well, I'm the chairperson of the Regulatory Issues Committee, and the Regulatory Issues Committee has been working on this subject for the last several months. As a matter of fact, this last meeting, we met with the company Mobility. Mobility is a very, what they plan to do is very concerning, and what we've talked about is this notion of placing 120-foot towers in the right-of-way, just a few feet off the street, and locating as many as 2 or 3 of these type of devices on these towers. Now, we just recently received a map from that company showing where they want to put them, and the closest ones would be on the other side of Route 83 around 91st Street. Actually, even a little south of there. But there's a lot of these poles that they want to put on all throughout DuPage County. So it's a major concern, not only to Burr Ridge, but every municipality. We're not alone in this by any stretch of the imagination. And obviously, my committee and through our committee, I've been also a member of the small working group of COG representatives to work on this subject. And now we have the Illinois Municipal League Home Rule Attorneys working on this subject. Again, all in anticipation of preparing a model ordinance that will hopefully negate this whole notion of doing this end run and getting state legislation and hopefully being able to ultimately work out an arrangement with these cell phone providers. So it's a major concern. Obviously, we're not trying to stop these types of devices. I think people realize that they want that cell phone service, but it has to be done, the right way, and we should, as a municipality, have the right to be able to regulate based on our community standards, the health, welfare, and safety of our community. And again, that's the reason why we're pursuing this issue.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Any questions of Steve by board members? Trustee Francis?
Just comments, a few comments. You mentioned the closest site that's being proposed, potentially being proposed is Route 83 south of 91st Street. Well, that's across the street from the new senior center. It's across the street from Falling Waters. It's pretty close to home. And that's the proposed site today. There may be more proposed sites in the future. We don't know. But I read the letter that was crafted by staff at DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, and I think it's an excellent, well-written letter. It captures the essence of our discussions we've had over the last few meetings concerning this important topic. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Babazia?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
yes,
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
4-0.
Excellent, thank you. Under considerations, we have a presentation by Police Chief John Madden regarding the FBI Academy experience. Trustee Fabeza?
One of the main objectives of the mayor and Board of Trustees is to provide safety for the residents and businesses in Burr Ridge. One way to provide that safety is to have an efficient and professional police department. In concentrating on the police department, we push for and receive CALIA accreditation. It is considered the gold standard of law enforcement. Less than 5% of the police departments are accepted for accreditation. To push for our pursuit for an elite police department, we approved our police chief, John Madden, to attend the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. It offers law enforcement personnel a comprehensive 10-week program to enhance and learn the latest in technology and forensic. And we've asked Chief Madden to give us an overview of what happened there for 10 weeks.
Oh,
I would be happy to.
There it is.
It's in the
Down, Steve? No, go previous one.
Just saw it.
It's about 2/3 of the way down, FBI National Academy presentation.
oh, there it is, okay.
Chief John Madden, thanks for joining us. And
Thank you. Before I get started, I recently received our CLIA accreditation certificate, and I wanted to
Guy,
bring it into the mayor
turn
and
lights
board.
up.
It's our 4th grade accreditation. I'm just going to leave it up here right now. We hang it in the police department, with the others, so, but I wanted you to see it before we hung it up. Thank you, Trustee Paveza. During, from July to September, from July 11th to September 16th, I had the honor to attend the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. And I've got a short presentation here to share that experience with the board and the citizens also. And the most important paragraph here is the second paragraph, which is the mission of the FBI Academy. And the FBI Academy started in 1935, the Wickersham Commission. And basically, well, let me just read the mission. I want to get that right. It's the FBI National Academy serves to improve the administration of justice in police departments and agencies at home and abroad, to raise law enforcement standards, knowledge, and cooperation worldwide. I attended the academy with 231 law enforcement professionals and then also from 24 countries. So it was one heck of an experience. Next one, please. There's just a picture of the FBI Academy. It's, as you can see, it's pretty big, and it's a gigantic facility, secured facility inside of another huge facility, which is the Quantico Marine Corps base. Next. The attendance is invitation only, and all expenses are paid by the FBI. There's no expenses to the village. The application process involves a nomination process, so normally a police chief would nominate one of his upper-level command staff. In my situation, Mr. Stricker nominated me, and it was I waited 3 years after the application process and was finally invited back in November, almost a year ago. Only lieutenants and above can attend the academy, so it's for executive law enforcement. There's 4 sessions per year, and there's approximately 230 law enforcement professionals in each session, and approximately usually about 24 spots are reserved for overseas law enforcement from other countries. It comes out to about less than 0.5% of the nation's top law enforcement that's invited on an annual basis. And the numbers 10% are reserved. I have a picture here of this gentleman is from Indonesia. His name is Chip. He's a high-ranking, he's with the Indonesian Federal Police. And I got that picture in there. It was International Night. And International Night, all the embassies work with their students, and they bring in food and drink from their culture to share with everybody. And then they wear their Class A uniform. So we gave Chip a hard time because we told him he didn't understand, but we told him he looked like Captain Stubing from the Love Boat. So we got a kick out of that. But he's a great guy. We call him Chip. He said that's his nickname because we could never be able to pronounce his name. But, you know, all of them communicated well. And you could see from Iceland, Thailand, Cambodia, South Korea, the UK, you know, just great conversations with these guys and friendships. The average wait to attend, if you're invited, is about 5 years. Some were longer and some were shorter. The average is about 5 years. Next slide. So it's a 10-week course of study. Our class schedule was 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And the courses that we were able to select from involved constitutional law, forensic science, behavioral science, terrorism, leadership, communication, health, fitness. And all of the courses were either undergraduate or graduate through the University of Virginia. So we're able to earn college credits. If the student didn't have a bachelor's degree or a graduate degree, you can use those transferable credits. All the instructors were the best of the best the FBI has to offer. They were the teachers. I had some great courses. I met with the mayor earlier today to go over some of the courses that I took. For example, I had a critical incident negotiation class, and the instructor was the lead negotiator in Quantico and handled some very high-profile cases. One being Captain Phillips. Some of you may have seen the movie. The Boy in the Bunker, I believe that was Alabama. That's just an example. I mean, just the amount of experience and knowledge was unbelievable. So the best training that I've had in my career over the 10 weeks. Along with the academics is the health fitness, and we had weekly, usually 3 to 4 times a week, we would have a class in health fitness and in physical training, which led up to tradition which they call the Yellow Brick Road. The Yellow Brick Road is a 6.1 mile course on the Marine base. It's the Marine Course 3 for Marines that have been to Quantico. The Marines mark it with yellow rocks so you stay on track. And the course involves running through trails, obstacles, and I've got some pictures of the obstacles here. And then, if you go to the next one, Steve. I never thought I'd get up that, but you know, it was a challenge. And if you qualified at the end of the 8 weeks with the physical training, and if you met certain criteria, then you're allowed to participate in this. And when you complete it, you earn your yellow brick. So I brought my yellow brick for everybody to see. In law enforcement, if you talk to other law enforcement executives, this is highly coveted, believe me. So it's just tradition, and it means a lot of hard work. And believe me, I never thought I'd do 6.1 miles ever in my life. I felt it after I was done, too. But what a great experience. This slide here is all the officers from Illinois. We had an officer from Orland Park, a lieutenant, Elk Grove Village, Palatine, O'Fallon, Illinois, and Mattoon, in McHenry City, in the Water Reclamation District. There was 9 of us from Illinois. So great friendships, networking throughout the world with these other law enforcement executives. Next one, Steve. I would like to say thank you very much for the opportunity. 10 weeks away is hard, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'd like to thank the mayor and you, Board of Trustees, especially Mr. Stricker, for nominating me. Deputy Chief Loftus, while I was gone, a lot of late nights, and he's in here on the weekends sometimes, so I had to do double duty. And we made that commitment to each other. I hope he's invited in the future. And we did. We said, you know, it's going to be hard. We're not a big department. So when one of us goes, it's going to be a lot of work. And so I owe him big time. He did a great job. My supervisory staff, they kicked in and they helped out too. My wife, it was hard being away 10 weeks. But what a great experience. And I'm very fortunate and very grateful to attend. It's a highlight of my career.
Chief, can you just share what you felt what you probably enjoy the most, and maybe how the village could benefit the most from your FBI Academy?
Well, the courses I took were, like I said, 10 weeks is some of the best training that I've had. And you know, I always thought that the international conference I get to attend every year had premier training. This was way better, and in just being able to take part in that training for 10 weeks, and in being together with law enforcement officials from all over the world, sitting down, sharing policies, procedures, experiences. You know, terrorism's a big topic, counterterrorism. New York, we had 4 officers from NYPD. We actually had a seminar which involved going to New York for the weekend and participating in going to their fusion center and just discussing the challenges on local law enforcement in counterterrorism. So it really, you know, the mission statement that I read earlier is the FBI brings law enforcement from all over the world together in it's all about communication and working together, strength in numbers. So sharing those experiences and gaining new colleagues that I can call on throughout the United States and the world, it's amazing. It's a fraternity. It's a law enforcement fraternity.
And I know that was something I was hoping to be able to attend, but was unable, but the village was, of course, represented by the gentleman in the picture,
Yes.
trustee, and Mayor Pro Tem Al Paveza. Al, would you like to share anything about your attendance at his graduation?
Well, one thing that I was impressed, and I thought they did a good job, not only for someone like me, but others that were there to get a real overview of what our chief and other people went through. I mean, not only was it very difficult, but the thing that I received the most humor in talking to other people is the yellow brick that the chief got, because he just did a few of them, but we saw a little moving video of everything that went through, and it basically, Quantico is in the middle of, the FBI Academy is in the middle of the Quantico Marine Base, and it is a mini boot camp, and these guys had to do a lot of huffing and puffing to get through, and again, I congratulate the chief on his yellow brick, because they earned it, let me tell you. And it was very impressive. And like the chief said, not only locally, and only 0.5% get to go or are invited, but internationally, they are waiting in line also to attend the academy. And the FBI puts a lot of emphasis on this. In fact, James Comey, the director of the FBI, was there for the final weekend. And after what I saw, there's no doubt that it was well worthwhile to have our chief go there, and I'm sure it's going to be a big help and a big asset to the village in the future.
Any trustees like to ask any questions of the chief, or questions, comments?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Francis?
Well, first of all, congratulations for all of your hard work and effort
Thank you.
in attending this important course of study. You had the opportunity, I'm sure, to talk with other gentlemen and ladies from other police forces throughout the country, small and large. What did you, if anything, did you learn from them and take back with them that could help you and help our police force here?
As law enforcement administrators, what I learned is, the personalities in law enforcement, every department is basically the same, from Iceland to Honolulu. So we got a kick out of talking about personnel issues. We talked a lot about leadership,
Okay.
And mentoring, and the importance of first-line supervisors in organizations. So there was a lot of discussions like that, just sharing our experiences, which, you can take a department like Houston, big departments, Chicago, it's basically the same. We might not have the volume of issues that a big city might have, but there's still that core that are the same across the United States and even out of the country. Very interesting to, terrorism. That was a lot of discussions on terrorism. Colleagues from Chad and in the UK, Jordan, just sitting down and talking with the international students, about how they handle, how they address these challenges. And quite different. Some are quite different than the way the United States law enforcement handles it. A significant learning experience. But you just shared everything from operations, policies. We're still exchanging policies. 3 hours ago, exchanging emails on policies for training, community policing activities. I mean, it hasn't stopped since I've been back. And it just opens up those resources for our agency, worldwide. So, it's everything that my colleagues told me the experience would be, and then some.
Well, it sounds great, and thank you again for your participation and your hard work. And it's great that the networking between the Village of Burridge, Police Department, and other agencies is continuing forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I too would like to congratulate you and welcome you home. I'm sure
Thank
this
you.
was a once-in-a-lifetime memory that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life, and it looks good on you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Chief, for all your hard work, and I know 10 weeks away is hard in itself, and the work that you did there. So, thanks for doing that for us, for the Village of Burridge and the residents.
Thank you.
And great job.
Technology, Skype, and Deputy Chief Loftus and I were in contact weekly. It really helps. It really helps.
Yes. Thank you, Chief, for keeping in contact with Deputy Chief Loftus and so frequently. I know you talk to him just about every day, and for being 10 weeks away from home, I know is very, very difficult. Thank you for what you've learned to benefit the village. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah.
I just want to add, in reference to Kalia, that we're very proud, as we've talked at other meetings with our Kalia accreditation. This is our 4th accreditation. And on the certificate, you'll notice that it's the gold standard. It's a process that we just went through. We've never done that before, which the the assessors, when they come out, they get away from the files and the paper, and they actually go out and they start interviewing people, random. They interview officers, citizens, stakeholders in the community, and to validate that we do follow the standards and the best practices by CALIA. So that's really a credit to the officers on the department, because they're the ones that were quizzed for 3 days, and they've actually, obviously, they've performed the work needed to meet those standards. So I just wanted to give credit to the officers on the department for that, and Deputy Chief Loftus for managing the program too.
Chief, since you're standing there, may I ask you a question? If there's any more information about the student from Hinsdale South, I was very surprised that I didn't hear more about it on the news, about that young gentleman. Where does that stand?
The only thing I have is what was in the news. It's a juvenile.
Yeah, okay.
So, some of the information is going to be confidential, but pretty much what was released in the news is what was released to us locally too. Very serious situation, and the Darien Police Department did a great job. And the credit goes also to the young man that brought those threats forward. And pretty serious incident, and the juvenile had a lot of weapons and bomb-making material, as it said in the news. So the young man that brought that forward did a great job, and the Darien Police Department jumped on it immediately and probably stopped a tragic situation.
Thank you.
And kind of on a related note, one of the courses that the chief got some intensive training on was how to handle the media, and so that it does not taint any evidence and information regarding incidents like that, which I'm sure will help in the future. And in this case, because it's a juvenile incident, they keep things even closer under wraps. But I'm sure the chief will keep us updated as things progress.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Under other considerations for announcement, deliberation, and discussion.
Just 2 things. Just to remind everybody that our electronic recycling program is underway, and it's set up at the Public Works Department, 7:30 to 3, Monday through Friday. Drop off your...
I already did.
You have done that? Very
Yes.
good. Good. It's nice to have it close to home.
That's right.
Secondly, on Wednesday, October 19th, here at the Village Hall at 7 p.m., we will have a meeting regarding the upcoming referendum. Letters were sent last week. I don't know if you got yours in the mail yet, but letters were sent to every resident of the village informing them of this meeting, and talk a little bit about the importance of that upcoming referendum in November.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, any residents who would like to address the board at this time? And reports and communications from village officials. I have only one, if anybody hasn't seen it yet. The Hinsdale Magazine just came out actually on the weekend. Is a first of two-part story about Burr Ridge's 60th anniversary. It's on page 62, and it's a good read, especially, and it was our former village president and trustee, Len Ruzak, was quoted throughout there quite a bit, as was I, but great information that we were able to obtain with the help of Janet Kowal and Karen regarding the history of the village. It's a great article, and they're going to have a second part in November. Anyone else?
Yesterday, the Chicago Marathon took place, and Burr Ridge was well represented with 30 participants that ran and completed.
Wow, as did you, Mr. Scappa.
Now, let's not let it slide by here. I mean, that's our trustee was one of the participants.
That's right.
In the Chicago Triathlon, Chicago Marathon,
Marathon.
sorry. And that's quite a feat. That's always one of my dreams, but never a goal. Congratulations. And,
Thank you.
Very cool. Anyone else? Trustee Francis?
I don't know if it's been mentioned or not, but the placement of the gift flag from Dolores Cizek, the flag that was flown over the U.S. Capitol in the front foyer here, entryway, is well done, especially with the framing of the plaque. I think that was a perfect spot for it. Thank you to staff for doing that.
Thank you to Dolores.
And of course, thank you to Dolores.
Okay. Anyone else? And speaking of which, I don't see any non-residents who are here to make comments. But seeing no other additional business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa?
Yes.
Trustee Scappa?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
4-0.
Thank you again for joining us. Have a wonderful week.
Yes.